America now, the land of opportunity, innovation, and adventure. From breathtaking coastlines to buzzing metropolises, it's a country that promises something for everyone. But beneath that polished promise, there's another side, a darker one. A side where fear outweighs freedom and survival, not sightseeing, is the focus of daily life. These aren't remote, war-torn corners of the globe. These are American cities, big and small, where everyday people navigate a reality tourists rarely see. In 2025, crime isn't just rising, it's mutating. Organized gangs, drug epidemics, police understaffing, political neglect, and economic collapse are converging to make certain areas in the U.S. dangerously unpredictable. If you take a wrong exit off the highway, you might enter a zone where 911 doesn't respond, where locals tell their own kids to sleep on the floor to avoid stray bullets. In this video, we're pulling back the curtain on 10 places in the United States that have become too dangerous to visit in 2025. Not based on fear-mongering, but on facts, first-hand reports, and statistics. If you think you know America, think again. 1. Oakland, California. The vanishing safety net. Oakland was once the rebel child of the Bay Area, gritty but artistic, diverse but defiant. But in 2025, that identity is being buried beneath a mountain of unchecked violence and civic dysfunction. After major budget cuts gutted the police department, the city has become a hotbed for property crime, carjackings, and violent assaults. Businesses have closed en masse, and even longtime residents are fleeing. The most disturbing part? Many of the crimes are caught on camera, yet go unpunished. Viral videos show broad daylight smash and grabs, shootouts on residential streets, and people robbed at gunpoint while pumping gas. It's not just the bad areas anymore. Tourists who stumble out of downtown and into East Oakland or certain parts of West Oakland risk becoming victims within minutes. Locals say it best, it's not if, it's when. 2nd Street Louis, Missouri, hunted after sunset. In St. Louis, the threat isn't subtle. It's bold, brash, and constant. Once a bustling Midwestern hub of industry and culture, the city now carries one of the highest murder rates per capita in America. In 2025, entire neighborhoods resemble ghost towns. Boarded up houses, bullet-riddled signs, and sirens echoing like background noise. Police presence is low, not because they don't care, but because they're overwhelmed. In some areas, officers won't even respond unless there's a body. Residents describe nights filled with gunfire so frequent, their kids can identify calibers by sound. For visitors, it's a minefield of invisible boundaries. Walk a few blocks in the wrong direction, North City, College Hill, Walnut Park, and your GPS might as well be your last guide. 3. Baltimore, Maryland. Beautiful on the surface, brutal beneath. Baltimore is a city of duality. Its harbor glistens with tourist attractions and seafood joints. But just beyond the inner harbor lies a very different city, one of the most violent and drug-afflicted urban centers in America. In 2025, the opioid crisis has deepened, and entire blocks resemble open-air drug markets. Many outsiders don't realize how quickly the scenery changes. One wrong turn takes you from high-end condos to corners where locals avoid eye contact, and strangers are immediately suspect. Public transit stations, especially after dark, are considered danger zones. Locals say the scariest part isn't what you see, it's what you don't. Predators wait for opportunity, and tourists provide it. 4. Detroit, Michigan. The illusion of a comeback. Detroit's revival has been heavily marketed. Hip coffee shops, startup hubs, street murals. But in 2025, most of that is concentrated in a few select areas. Beyond them lies a city still haunted by decades of decay, corruption, and crime. Abandoned homes become crime dens. Whole blocks lack working streetlights. Gangs and poverty rule many districts, while police patrol reactively, not proactively. Tourists are lured by nostalgia, Motown, muscle cars, historic architecture. But what they're not told is that robberies, carjackings, and home invasions have reached pandemic levels in certain areas. Even locals rely on neighborhood watch groups because they know police won't show up in time. Downtown Detroit might be safe. Just don't wander far without knowing the landscape. It changes fast. 5. New Orleans, Louisiana. Music, magic, and mayhem. New Orleans has always been a city of contradiction, sultry and soulful by day, dangerous and disorienting by night. In 2025, crime has surged to unprecedented levels. Shootings now occur regularly in the French Quarter. Tourists, intoxicated, unaware, and carrying valuables, make easy prey for robbers and scammers. The local police force is short-staffed, underpaid, and often slow to respond. Locals describe zones of crime that have slowly expanded beyond traditional high-risk neighborhoods. Bourbon Street, once the epicenter of celebration, is now a hotspot for theft, brawls, and worse. Even rideshare drivers warn visitors to keep windows up and doors locked. Yes, in broad daylight. The party hasn't stopped, but it's turned into a dangerous game of roulette. 6. Memphis, Tennessee. The music dies at night. Memphis gave the world Elvis, blues, and barbecue. But in 2025, it's giving rise to a different headline. Rising murders, gang warfare, and a city in slow collapse. Memphis ranks among the top U.S. cities for violent crime, and the problem is worsening. What's especially frightening? The randomness. People have been shot while fueling their cars, shopping, even sitting on porches. Beale Street, once a safe haven for music lovers, has seen an uptick in muggings and street violence. Residents often say, it's not just the crime, it's the boldness of it. Criminals know there's little risk of being caught. Tourists often mistake the southern hospitality for safety. But the moment you step outside the tourist bubble, you're rolling the dice. 7. Albuquerque, New Mexico. Sand, sun, and sudden danger. Albuquerque surprises people. On the surface, it looks serene. Desert skies, adobe homes, mountain views. But in 2025, it's grappling with one of the worst crime epidemics in the Southwest. Car thefts are out of control. Burglaries happen in broad daylight. And methamphetamine has reinfected neighborhoods that were once considered safe. Police describe a dangerous new trend. Criminals following tourists from the airport to hotels and robbing them shortly after check-in. Homelessness and drug use have spilled into public parks and transit stops. What makes Albuquerque especially risky is how deceptive it is. One minute you're admiring murals, the next you're being targeted by a crew that's done this a dozen times before. The silence of the desert hides a storm. 8. Chicago, Illinois, the city of divided realities. Chicago is a tale of two cities. Skyscrapers and skyline selfies on one side, gunfire and trauma units on the other. In 2025, the south and west sides of Chicago remain engulfed in daily violence. In fact, some blocks have seen more homicides than entire small towns. While downtown still draws tourists, the problem is how fast safety disappears just outside that core. Carjackings have crept into well-off neighborhoods. Expressways have seen highway shootings. Tourists have been targeted leaving events or taking public transit after dark. The most dangerous thing in Chicago? Believing the postcard version is the whole truth. 9. San Bernardino, California. Left behind in the Golden State, California's inland empire was once full of promise. But San Bernardino is now a symbol of how quickly a city can fall. In 2025, the city is one of the poorest in the nation, and violence has followed poverty like a shadow. The police department is stretched so thin that some crimes are triaged and never investigated. Gangs control multiple blocks, shootings are reported daily, and abandoned buildings have become makeshift shelters and criminal hideouts. What's especially alarming is how normal it all seems. Locals walk past yellow tape and bullet holes as if it's part of the scenery. Visitors, on the other hand, may not survive their mistake of venturing into the wrong zone. 10. Jackson, Mississippi. A city on the brink of America's infrastructure crisis has a face, and it's Jackson. The capital city of Mississippi is experiencing a full-on breakdown in 2025. Clean water is a privilege, roads are crumbling, and crime has replaced community. Gun violence is a daily event. Emergency services are unreliable, and public trust is near zero. Locals have coined a term, Invisible abandonment. It means living in a place where even your own government seems to have walked away. Tourists don't visit Jackson by accident, and in today's climate, they shouldn't visit at all. What once was a proud city has become a case study in collapse. Don't travel blind in 2025. So there you have it. 10 places in America that are no longer just rough around the edges, but dangerously unstable in 2025. This doesn't mean these cities are beyond saving. Every one of them has people fighting for change, for hope, for safety, but facts are facts. And if you're traveling blind, you could find yourself in a situation where Google Maps can't help you. So research before you roam. Check local crime data. Ask locals. Don't let nostalgia or ignorance put you in harm's way, because in 2025, beauty and danger often wear the same mask. If you found this video eye-opening, hit that like button, subscribe for more real talk content, and comment below. Have you visited any of these cities? What did you experience? Stay aware, stay curious, and above all, stay safe.